Hello guys, welcome to DIY Repair Now. Today we're going to be working on this KitchenAid built-in oven. And the problem that we have with this oven is that it's not heating properly. It's not reaching 350 degrees preheating temperature, and the model number it's on the display. I'm going to let you know guys that you're going to see two different footage, but I'm going to let you know when. The first clips is going to be for the day that I did the diagnostic, so the first day. And I'm going to let you know guys when I came back, because you will see two different things. These two lines right there shows you that's the broil element, and the bottom that's the broil, and this is the bake element for baking. When you turn on the broil and the bake element comes on and it's showing LO, that means it's low temperature, because the only one is coming on for a little bit is the broil element. The bottom element is not working at all. So we're gonna find out why this bottom element is not working. And to do this, we're gonna have to remove the whole oven out to be able to test why that heat element is not working. And we're going to find out if it's the board or the heat element itself. First thing you need to do is disconnect the appliances or turn it off at the breaker to avoid electric shock. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. To remove the door, you have to release this little clip. That I don't have that, and the footage really good, so that's why I put the picture. Once you release that little clip and pull it all the way back the way you see it right there, the door, you lift the door up and it will come right out. However, you don't need to remove the door to be able to do this repair, but it will make your job easier because it will be lighter to get it out. Now this is the day when I came and did the diagnostic, and I removed the door because I want this to come out easy. And I removed this from touch panel cover. So, and when I come back, I didn't remove neither one of these two parts, but you're gonna see that later on the video. If you want to remove these two things, it will make your job easier. But if you don't, you can just, follow the video. You just saw me pointing the two screws they are holding the oven in place. And I just took this footage from the first day, that way I can show you guys, but I put everything back again. So once you remove those two screws that holds the oven in place, just go ahead and put something on the bottom. In this case, we have a really nice expensive wood flooring, so we put some tarp to be able to get everything and cover the floor. And be careful, there are sharp edges, as you saw right there. In fact, I caught myself doing this repair, and I've been doing this for a long time. So make sure you wear gloves or a long sleeve, that way you prevent yourself from cutting yourself. As you see, you can remove everything with the door on and that cover on as well, if you don't want to mess with that top cover, touch panel cover. But you have to go in an angle to be able to release it. Remember, it's screws on the back right there. Make sure you get that to be able to lift everything up. This is the ground cable from the power. I'm just loosening this up because I need to get this a little bit out to be able to test that heat element. So once I get enough space, you're probably gonna have more space than I do. That wire is kind of tight, and I really don't want to disconnect anything because this is the day for the diagnostic, and that will involve more job. However, if you have to disconnect the power, you're gonna see that later on the video. Remove all the screws for the back panel. At this point, I'm getting loose the screws enough for me to reach the heat element. As you see, we have two red wires going to the heat element right there. If you don't own a tester, we have a link of the description of this video, and you can buy one in there, and it will buzz. It will make a sound when you receive power or continuity. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and use my tester, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this clips on my terminals. However, if you don't have this clips for your tester, just put them on put the lead straight to the heat element, and that would be enough for you to see if you have continuity on the actual heat element. As you see right there, I'm gonna go ahead and put my tester on those two terminals where you see those arrows. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my clippers, and as you see in the picture where the two yellow arrows are, that's where my tester is connected. Now I switch it to continuity, and I have no continuity whatsoever. It's no beeping, nothing is going on, so we already know we need a bake element. At this point, if you want to test if you're receiving power, if that tests okay, those two terminals have to give you 240 volts, but this tester, you have to do it with the breaker on, so you have to be very careful. If you don't know about electricity, don't do it. Between this white and red terminal, it have to give you 120, and between the black terminal and the white terminal, 120. That's just to make sure you're getting enough power. If you don't own a tester, you can find one in the description of this video. There's a link there for you. Again, this is the next day when we came back and finished the repair. We're gonna go ahead and remove the two screws again. This time I'm not gonna remove the door. That way you guys can see you can do it in two different ways. I'm not gonna remove the touch panel cover either. Remember, it's one here on the bottom and one on the top. That one is covered, so we have to get to the back to be able to get to it. In fact, I used the same door to be able to pull it out. And again, we have to cover the floor again, because we don't want to scratch the floor, because then, you know, you're going to be in trouble with the homeowner. Nobody wants to see scratches in your really nice floor. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove this top cover again to be able to get to the wiring. And as you see, I'm just removing. This is 1/4 screws, guys, by the way. As you see, I'm getting that piece, but you have to get this part in angle to be able to release it from the front cover. Like I said, if this is kind of hard for you to get it out, just release that from touch panel cover. Stop right there. Just get it in a little angle, and it will come right out. Remember, guys, this has sharp edges, and it's a screw right there. And the back, make sure you remove the screw, because otherwise it will not come out. Again, remove the ground wire. And at this point, we're releasing the top panel to be able to get to the power wiring. Now we have to remove the red, white, and black cable, because we already released the ground cable. If you want to go ahead and remove this with your drill, you can use this ratchet. You might see the description right there while I'm recording, but if you don't, I'm gonna go ahead and put the size for this ratchet on the description of this video. That way you can, guys, go get it at, you know, any AutoZone or any auto parts, or Walmart or Home Depot, if you guys want to do this repair yourself, or if you're a technician and you probably already have it. Right there, what I'm doing is releasing the nuts. They are holding the cables on the terminal block. Sorry I didn't got that on the video really good, but you get the idea. You can see at least one of them right there, the black one. And that's what basically I did with the white one and the red one. Once you release the nut, just go ahead and remove the wires. At this point, you already release the oven from the power cables. So the part that came apart, you go ahead and put this panel on the side. Make sure you don't lean that on the floor, because again, it has sharp edges and it can scratch the floor, or you can cut yourself. So again, use gloves. I'm gonna keep mentioning this, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep telling you guys, please use gloves, because myself, I got cut myself in this repair, and I do this pretty much every day. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove completely the back panel. We're gonna remove all the 1/4 screws. I'm using a drill, but you can use a screwdriver. Just for a demonstration, I'm gonna go ahead and use a screwdriver later on. You can use either a drill with a 1/4 bit, or you can use a 1/4 screwdriver. And right now I'm trying to get to the heat element, but you're gonna see, guys, that this got a little complicated. We're gonna go ahead and remove the power terminals or wiring, and as you see some insulation there, we have to clear all that insulation out. There's another panel that is covering and is preventing the heating from coming out, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those 4 screws to be able to get to the heater. I gotta tell you guys, this repair got a little complicated because this heater did not want to come out because it was all bent over, but you're gonna see that later on in the video. At this point, what I'm doing is trying to clear some of this insulation out, because it is in my way to be able to get this heat element out. And I'm trying to see the screws. I'm trying to get, find how many screws are there. And so far I see 2 of them. There's another one right there. But just watch the video, and trust me, you're gonna be able to do this repair yourself. But you see all that metal there, all those are sharp edges. I cut myself and I don't even know how. I didn't even realize until I, notice it later on. See right there, that's the insulation. There's another screw right there. And then if you watch this video with detail, just watch it a couple times, or just follow the video once you get the part, and just follow the video, and be patient when you're doing this repair, because it can get a little complicated. Myself got a little complicated, so sometimes I leave these complications because probably you're gonna run into the same issue, and if you do, at least you know how to solve it. I know a lot of people make it seem these videos are easy, or make it seem that these repairs are easy on the videos, but sometimes when it's kind of difficult for me, I rather to leave all the difficulties. That way you guys know what to do in case you run into some complications. There is the part number. You can find this part in a link on the description of this video, so just go there if you want to order this part online. You can get it on Amazon or Repair Clinic if you want to get this part. There's the new element right there on the box. As you see, the heat element has like a couple legs, and once you get the other one out, you will see where those little legs are, where those little legs goes inside. That's prevent the heating from, being moving around and things like that. You get the idea once you take it apart and put your flashlight inside. You will see there are like two females, and those two male tabs on the front of the heat element will go with the females. See, right now I'm getting a little complication with the insulation, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the insulation to be able to get to the heat element. Maybe it's another guys that do it differently. This is the way I did it. This is the way it worked for me. I'm gonna forward this video because it took me a little while to get the insulation out of the way, but you get the idea. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this box, because I want to go ahead and lean the oven, because it's kind of hard to get this heat element just by removing that insulation in the back. And like I said, just follow the video, because I'm gonna have to remove this bottom panel. If yours is not that complicated, you might don't have to do this, but if you want to work more freely, my recommendation is go ahead and release this bottom panel as well. Now just be careful to put something on the front of the oven, you know, like a piece of towel or a rag or something, to be able, that way you don't scratch the floor or prevent the door from the door glass getting cracked or anything like that. Okay. And again, if you don't have a drill, go ahead and use a screwdriver. This is a 1/4 screwdriver. It might take a little longer because it's a lot of screws that you have to remove. But if you have the time to do it, and if you don't have the tools, just work with what you got, and that should do it for you. Now I removed all the screws, but this back panel is kind of stuck. It's just metal to metal, so it might get stuck each other. And I just wiggle it, and then it came right out. There you go. See, I kind of bend this back a little, and there's another panel right there. As you see, it has some clamps in there, and I'm just strain those out to be able to work more freely and be able to see what I'm working with. Over here there is the heat element, but I don't see the actual heat element on the bottom. That is because there's another cover there. It's like I said, guys, this was a complicated repair, but once you start doing this repair, you have to finish it. Again, you can either use a screwdriver, my drill. I need to replace the battery, but I'm using the screwdriver because I really want to get to this heat element and find out what happened in there. Trying to get the 1/4 screws. The total of the screws, and to be able to get this out, there are 6 screws. 4 that holds another little panel there that you're gonna see it in a minute, and 2 that holds the actual heat element in place. So see, I'm trying to remove the insulation because I don't want that insulation to go inside the heating element housing either. And like I said, it's stuck because it's all broken inside and it's getting stuck, so it was kind of hard to get this thing out of there. There's another screw. Like I told you, there are a total of 6 screws to be able to get this out. So just remember that, guys. What you got to do is try to remove all the insulation. That way you have a better picture of what you're doing. See, right there, I'm still trying to get that heat element out, and it does not want to come out because it's kind of stuck in there. Now I start pulling out really hard. Go ahead and remove the other cover. That's the little cover that I was telling you about. And that cover is to prevent the heat from coming out of the housing. And as you see how bent and broken this thing is, I mean, I've seen messed up heat elements, but I never seen something like this. I don't know how this heat element wasn't creating shortage inside, or it was creating shortage inside. Look at this. So bent, broken, crooked. It looks like this thing has been like this for a long time. Look at this, guys. And once you see inside, you see, you know, how this heat element goes. There is the new heat element. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and install this bracket, this metal cover, on the heat element first, because I think it will be easier for me to put this one back on, and I don't have to, you know, mess with the this other panel in place. So if you can get this picture, I mean, you might can get away with just releasing 4 of the screws and not releasing the screws that goes on the heat element itself. Just release the ones that goes on the on this cover, which is, you know, 4 screws total. Now, you know, remove the insulation from, you know, it's on the way the insulation does not get inside. I don't think the insulation catch on fire, but you don't want to take those chances. Once you get it in there, that insulation is going to keep getting in your way. Just work your way around, be patient, and, you know, sit that cover in place, and go ahead and start putting all your screws back on. I can forward this video because this video was kind of long video, because I put the day that I came and did the diagnostic and the actual day where I came and finished the repair. There's one of the screws right there. This little part did not want to come, you know, they don't want to sit in place. But once you start wiggling or use a screwdriver to sit it in place, it will sit in his position. I kind of have to use a screwdriver, and this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. When I run on these little complications, I'd rather to leave it on the video. I know it made the video a little longer, but who knows, you might run into this situation that didn't want to sit in place, so I have to use like a screwdriver to lift it up and make it go over, and that's when it went in place. Once you got it in, just put the screwdriver, place the battery on my drill, and you get the idea right there. Just go ahead and tighten all the screws. At this point, we're pretty much done. You know, you just have to be patient while you do this repair, because you might get frustrated when you start getting a complication. But this video will make your life easier. Again, guys, if this video helped you in any kind of way, you can, you know, leave a tip. And if you don't have any money to, you know, do it, just go ahead and comment, like the video, and share. That will help us to create more content for you guys. You might come back to our channel in the future for another repair video. That way you avoid a service call or a repair. As you see, I forwarded the video, that way it's not boring. But you get the idea. All the insulation sits back in place. Just go ahead and put the insulation back like it was. There is no problem. Once you cut the insulation, you just put it back together and there should be no issues with it. Go ahead and plug your wire nuts. Sometimes those wire nuts get loose, so if they kind of loose on the heat element, go ahead and clip them with the needle nose or any pliers that you have. Close them right there. That way they go in really tight. Try not to squeeze it too tight either, because then it's not going to want to go in. Just do what you need to do. That way they are tight on the terminal, because if this is loose, you might get a burn terminal in the future, and that's going to be another issue that basically you created by not doing this right. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Another tip, go ahead and remove those metal shelving, because it can crack your glass. I didn't remember, so just another tip right there. Those metal racks, I meant to say. Now we're gonna go ahead and start put everything back together. We're gonna go ahead and start by putting this back cover and also the wiring. Now over here you see me doing the wiring. This was another issue that I have. When you do this repair, go ahead and put that back panel that you see on the left first. That way you don't run in the situation that you're gonna see in a minute. Now I'm putting the wiring, and I'm gonna have an issue to put this back panel, but it will be easier for you guys to put that panel back on, unless you have a lot of wiring to work with. Go ahead and tight all your nuts that goes to the terminal block for the wiring. Make sure they are secure in place, because if it's a wrong contact there, you're gonna have an issue. See what I'm saying? I should just put this panel before, but it is what it is. I'm trying not to remove all that again, so I'm just gonna work my way around. Make sure that sits in place, and go ahead and start installing all your 1/4 screws back in place for the back panel. Now we got the ones on this side. We're gonna go ahead and go to the other side of the oven and do the ones in the other side. Once you do that, go ahead and install your ground wire. And now we're gonna go ahead and install our top panel. As you see right there, you don't have to remove the front cover. Just put it in an angle and it should sit in place. That is your choice if you want to work more freely or whatever, but in my case I did it both ways, and either way works fine. Don't forget to install the screw on the back, which that's the one that holds the wiring and prevent it from coming loose. And now we're gonna go ahead and install the screw, the 1/4 screws that holds the top panel all the way around. There are 3 screws on one side, 3 screws in the other side, and 1 screw on the back for this top panel, in case you guys was wondering. There you go. Once you do that, we're gonna go ahead and start by setting this oven in place. Again, it is kind of heavy, so try to get somebody to use somebody that help you to put it back in place. In my case, I did it by myself, so I put one corner first and then I work my way in. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. If you're doing it by yourself, you might want to get that door out, because that door, it is kind of heavy and it will make the oven a little lighter. But as you see right there, I got one corner in, and I work my way around and my way in to put this oven back in place. Once you got it in, just push it all the way back. There you go. Push it all the way back. You can find that on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Install the 2 screws that hold the oven in place. Like this video, that helps us a lot. Subscribe and comment. Thanks for watching.